What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to become a digital nomad without killing your agency. As some of you probably know, I decided to move down to Costa Rica last year. So I've compiled some of my favorite hacks that you can use to implement so you can not only successfully run your business remotely, but you can create the best possible workspace conditions for you to become a digital nomad. So let's jump in. Number one, you got to figure out where you want to live. So the first step is you're going to want to compile a list of possible destinations that you can become a digital nomad. It might be Thailand or Bali or Costa Rica or Joshua Tree. All of these places have become, quite the travel destinations or COVID hotspots for knowledge workers and people who want to work remote. So I'll include a couple of the resources that I use to help me decide that Costa Rica was the place that I want to land. So start with the list first, do your research. Number two, you're gonna wanna start speccing out your workspace before you arrive to your destination. So if you're renting from Airbnb or VRBO, you wanna start creating conversation with your host or the property manager or owner now to understand where is the best place for you to work. I'm actually working in a detached guest house. So I created dialogue with the owner ahead of time. I used Miro to create a floor plan, understand where might be the best lighting, and actually create this really cool system for me to arrive and have pretty much everything become turnkey. All right, number three, you're gonna wanna invest in some good office equipment. So depending on where you're going, this might be relatively easy to find or it might be kind of difficult. Do your research, look into local marketplaces, office depots, if that exists, where you're going. I was able to find quite a few things to make my workspace pretty successful. So an ergonomics chair, Herman Miller obviously makes top of the line that may or may not be available where you're going, but you should be able to find something in the $200 to $1,000 budget. I also got a standing desk. This is really important for me because I like to do both work sitting and standing. It's better for your back and posture, and it's nice just to have that option. I then got some monitors. So I got external monitors. I was able to source these in the capital of Costa Rica in San Jose. It took a couple days to get. It was relatively easy, but make sure you bring extra cables and backup keyboards and an extra mouse. Because what I've learned is living in the jungle, the humidity can fry a lot of your electronics, and it actually fried my Apple Magic keyboard on the delete key. So I brought an extra backup with me to prevent that from happening. Number four, you're gonna wanna do speed tests. Now, it's not enough to actually just do a speed test on your phone or have your Airbnb host, your property manager send it to you. You actually wanna simulate a Zoom call experience, because what I found is a lot of these places in these jungle locations, again, whether you're going to Costa Rica or Bali, it's pretty much the same. Even though there's fiber optics and high-speed internet in a lot of these places, a lot of property managers are sometimes too cheap and use extenders and don't actually pay for dedicated lines. So you want to actually run a mock Zoom call testing the connection before you get to that final destination. I promise you this hack will wind up saving you a lot of money and worry in the long run. Number five, you want to create a protocol, or what I call an SOP, a standard operating procedure, for what happens if your power goes down. I would say in probably the last year of living in Costa Rica, my power went down maybe 7 times while I was on the middle of calls. And sometimes it's frustrating when I have a coaching call, client is paying me a lot of money for my time, and all of a sudden the power goes out. So I have an EA in the States and I have a virtual assistant in the Philippines. So both of them have this protocol and know that if I'm not going to be online on Telegram or WhatsApp or Slack and not responding to texts or calls, then it's likely that I don't have service and the power went down in the entire place. So in the event that happens, my EA and my VA both know to notify somebody that I was gonna have a scheduled call with that I'm gonna come back as soon as I get my connection back or I get back online. So creating good documentation and process for worst case scenarios, it's just gonna make you sleep better at night and feel more comfortable about being in this remote location. Number six, have tasks ready to go if you do get some of that offline time. So what I learned was being able to get offline time or having the power taken out sometimes allowed me to do some of my best deep focus or maker work. So what I actually have is in my GTD setup, on Todoist, I have a section for unplugged. And as soon as the power goes out or as soon as something happens, I use that opportunity to start creating content or writing or doing one of the many tasks that I have in my Todoist folder for offline and unplugged time, which I really only get either when I'm in an airplane or the power goes down in Costa Rica. All right, number 7 is one of the most important hacks. Make sure your background is pretty boring. Let me repeat that. Make sure you do not create a super lush and sexy background, because if you're gonna be a digital nomad, you're probably gonna pick a really cool place. I've chosen Costa Rica. Now, I'm in a just normal background. I could be anywhere in the world. I could be in the Midwest, I can be in Texas, but I'm not. Where am I? I'm actually in the jungle. What I've learned is if you're trying to run a business, you are raising capital, or even doing a Senate hearing like Jack Dorsey did in Costa Rica, you want to choose a pretty stale, neutral background. You don't want to show all this jungle, lushy sexiness, or people might get a little resentful or pissed off, especially in a pandemic when you get to be in a beautiful destination and they probably have to be stuck in a city. Okay, number 8, you're going to want to also spend some extra money in your video and your audio equipment. And I recommend ordering these things ahead of time. I'm including my setup in the notes below. The Logitech Brio shoots in 4K. It's an amazing camera that will be able to plug directly into your computer. I use the Logitech keyboard as well, which I've included in the notes. And then for the audio, I have a boom mic. I also have the H6 audio hand recorder. Depending on how pro you want to get, you could use your mic input on your computer. I recommend always getting an external mic, paying extra. This is your career and your business at the end of the day. So you want to make it as pro as possible. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you want to simulate actual calls, get feedback, do practice rounds, understand the best conditions and where is the best location for your calls before you start actually taking meetings. Number 9, stick to a consistent schedule. So in my schedule in Costa Rica, I've got 11 to 4 meetings, deep focus time, random stuff that I've got to do for work. I've chosen this strategically because I want to be able to play in the morning, whether it's surfing, whether it's running, whether it's doing yoga. I've got the entire morning for that. Also, I work Central Standard Time here in Costa Rica. So I get a 2-hour advantage for some of the people that I work with in California who start their day at 9 a.m. I'm starting my day at 11. And then I typically like to clock out around 4 p.m. because everybody's got to catch the sunset here in Costa Rica around 4:20, 4:30 when it starts. So giving yourself a consistent schedule will allow you to be more productive. It'll help you relieve anxiety and just generally be a more happy person when you get to travel in one of your cool spots that you want to be a nomad in. All right, friends, so these were my favorite hacks for you to become a successful digital nomad like I have. I'm really excited for you to implement some of these things. Please let me know how it goes. Comment and subscribe. I'm going to be posting new videos again, so I'm excited to be back and hearing from you guys.